recap on the 4th of August, the Friday. Today we had big news and we'll talk about its impact. I always say that if you have mastered structure, you should not fear news. So you should be smart about it, but don't fear it. And we'll explain this in today's trade recap. So let's look at the 4-hour chart, or in fact the daily chart. Boss, a pullback. Obviously we've been talking about this. Yesterday we said the pullback is coming into a very high probability demand zone because this demand zone was responsible for internal break of structure, for a swing break of structure. So it is pretty powerful, and the pullback hasn't even gone deep enough into the leg. So we still have that refined pivot candle, and we can see a deeper pullback. Today we did see, after the news, a massive push up into the supply demand over here, and we could probably see next week a slightly push higher and deeper into the zone before we get another pull back into the demand over here. And at that point in time, given the confluences in the lower time frames, we could either run for another swing leg break of structure, or we can completely go bearish and go into the deeper zone for the daily lows, to test the daily lows. So let's go to 4H. On the 4H from yesterday, if you all remember, we went quite in depth with the internal structure and the external larger structure and the swing structure. So our swing structure is pretty clean. We just saw it. We had a 4H boss here, our weak low, a strong low and a weak high. And the price has been sort of trickling very, very cleanly. This was the last low. We had a break. This was the high that was responsible for breaking the low. So this is the 4H internal strong. We came in to the demand like we saw on the daily chart, and now we have pushed up. Like I was saying, that it has reached at the edge of that demand zone, but we still have a 4H pivot, a refined POI, point of interest. And it could be that we go a little bit higher, take all of this liquidity, get a confirmation for maybe a bearish run, and then go deeper into this, deeper into the demand on the daily. Let's look at the 15-minute, and this is where I took a trade today, knowing that there was news. But how do we play the news knowing when we understand structure? And this is what we're going to talk about. Okay, so let me get this. I wanted to get the full picture in, and then we'll zoom it out. So we had the 15-minute boss yesterday because we had candle body closed below, which means that we had the swing high over here and the weak low over here. And today, when we came in at or in fact yesterday, this did happen. We had a break of structure with the candle body close. You can argue with me, yes, is it a break of structure? Is it a sweep of the leg? Whatever. But to me, this was a 15-minute boss. And once this boss happens, immediately this becomes the strong swing low. And this, where the pullback starts, becomes the strong swing high. And we came in this morning. So we are playing within this range, right? Within the swing range. And we came in for August around here at this point in time, yes? So let me pull back all the way to here, let's say. And sort of we'll walk through this, right? So right now, what do we have? We have our pullback, and then we are creeping up, right? So up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, right? So up, down. So this inherently right here is the first indication that the internal structure on the 15-minute is turned bearish, which gives us a nice little demand or a supply zone over here, right? So let's get rid of that. So let's get rid of that. And, you know, at this point in time, I'm just watching. I want to see more confirmation over here. So this could be a POI of interest. But why did I not take a trade over here? Because let's push price forward down. and we had a good reaction, right? So we had a tradable opportunity over there. And if we went down to maybe 5 minutes or 1 minute, we possibly could have a trade here, but we'll save that for next time because I have another trade that I took I want to share with you. But why wouldn't I not want to trade from here? Because we are in the premium of the swing leg, and the swing weak high is up here. So you're trading, granted you are pro internal, but you're trading from a weak swing leg. So any point in time, right? The price could come here, the price could come into this, the price could come out, we don't know. And it could immediately reverse on us without giving us ample opportunity or indication that it is turning. It could just be a quick touch of the wick and turn against us. So would you want to risk your capital on trading from a weak leg, even though it's pro internal? And look at these big ranges, right? So how convincing is these small little breaks over here? And these breaks could be very well to facilitate to come deeper into somewhere here, or maybe deeper over here, and then we get the good move, right? So if I were to draw this, it could be tuck, 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 come into some sort of demand zone here, and then it'll give us a chalk, break the structure, come back into this zone here, and then it could go, right? Or if I got rid of all of that, or it could go like this, continue going up and down all the way into here, or maybe even lower. And then finally, when we get here, we get this little break of structure over here. We get a new demand zone, price comes in over here and then go. This one would be the highest probable because we are trading from a strong low and we are trading from a positive order flow to the bullish side internally, right? So internal is pro, the external, the larger swing leg is pro, and that would be the trade that I'll take all the time, right? So let's get rid of all of that. Let's move price forward now. So that is why I was not interested over here, even though we might have opportunities. Let's keep going. At this point in time, this is what I'm looking at. We had a nice liquidity sweep at this point in time, right? And I marked, once we had the liquidity sweep, I marked the supply zone that was responsible for this sweep. So if this goes, again, price comes in, takes all of this liquidity like that, takes all of this liquidity, goes up, maybe gives us a reaction, then goes up over here. And once it goes here, that would be the area that I would want to take a trade and then move forward. But that did not happen. So if I move price forward, nothing happened. That supply held and it did its job. So I'm right now just sitting on my hands, right? I know liquidity has been swept. I know this zone, has been tapped many times and hasn't put a lower low. So I'm thinking this zone is sort of weak, right? Because we have the weak eye over here. If this zone is weak, not putting in lower lows, this zone is weak. Otherwise, there should have been enough orders over here that, the big guys probably taking all of this liquidity should have used that liquidity to push the price further down. That did not happen. So I'm thinking the zone is weak. So as I'm looking, and then we get this, a massive pull. Right, so we come to the edge of this leg, we probably take some liquidity. Now, liquidity below this is strong, right? So this goes, right? This goes for me right now, and liquidity below this is fairly strong at this point in time. So now I'm thinking, let's move to 5 minutes. Let me see if I get a trade over here. We swept all of that liquidity. Price moving forward, moving forward, moving forward. Moving forward again, it's taking all that liquidity. I'm just waiting, right? Because for me, I have to wait for the chalk to happen, and our price is moving forward, moving forward, moving forward, moving forward, moving forward. Let's go to 15 minutes to make it a little easier for you guys. Moving forward, and at this point in time, what happens? So if I look at the 15-minute right now, price came in, swept this low. So all of this low is gone. This low is gone. This to me is protected because it came back, it pushed through, created an internal IBOS. The high over here never created a low, and then it went pushed back. So this had strong liquidity behind this, which got swept. And to me, this is the last area that needs to hold for the long trade idea to hold. If this low goes, then the entire trade idea to be a long in the situation is gone, right? So what did price do? Price came into the equilibrium of the range. It swept all the liquidity. At this point in time, what do we have there? So we have a liquidity sweep here, or not a liquidity sweep, we have a chalk over here. And at this, at this moment, all my criteria to enter a trade is met. We are in the EQ. We swept a lot of liquidity. Once we swept the liquidity, we have a good aggressive push up, and then we have the chalk. Even though the pull up, it's not a V-shaped reaction, it's all embedded into this one wick on the 5 minute, on the 15 minute, but let's look at what the 5 minute shows us. Yeah, so on the 5 minute, there was a nice little V-shaped reaction, and then it took off, and incidentally, the chalk and everything was at the same place. If I was looking at the 5 minute, I wouldn't have looked over here, but we did take a whole bunch of liquidity on these equal lows, right? So on the 15 minute, what did I do? I quickly marked my extreme 25% and 0%, and then I quickly placed my trade long over here as such, and then below, what was it, 6, yeah, below a pip and a half below this low, right? Because this low needs to hold, otherwise the trade idea is gone, because if this breaks, then the entire scenario changes, it becomes bearish. So, and because I was so confident in the bullish run, I did not want to target 2 hour, 3 hour. I went all the way, I think it was a 3 hour, I wanted to target swing high. So I believe this is where I was. And then at this point in time, it tagged me in. I was here, here, here. At this point in time, I'm getting nervous, right? I mean, should I close? Should I not close? Should I hold it? The trade idea makes sense. Getting extremely nervous. Now, at this point in time, when price actually came all the way this deep, right? I thought I'm done. After this candle was printed, I thought a perfect equal low setup like this is definitely going to get run. And I was ready to accept a -1 hour today, even though the entire trade idea made sense to me. And it could be one of those days when your idea doesn't work out, right? But when price came in all the way down here, and I'm looking at this, at this point in time, it's already 4 o'clock, 4 o'clock my local time. So we have the news coming out of USA on the unemployment rate in about 30 minutes. And I'm thinking, should I close? Should I leave it? Structure-wise, it makes sense. I've accepted the risk. So if I've accepted the risk, I'm going to stay in the trade. It's if I lose, I lose. I've accepted it. And then price went up. I was happy, because at this point in time, I could have broken even. But again, with the news, I did not close it. I left it there. And that's when the news hit. And then immediately I went up. So my point here being that when news happens, the price just does not randomly pick a place and then reacts from there and goes up. It goes to areas of interest, of POIs that you've marked before, and you should be wary of this. So if price had broken this, the whole trade idea would have been gone, because I'm 100% sure it would have taken this low as well. Once this low goes, then the whole thing breaks apart, and we could be looking at a bearish trend after that. But price came in all the way into my stop loss. I didn't close my stop loss to a break even, and instantly pushed higher. Where did it push? It pushed into 4H, right? It did not stop here. It did not stop here. It went straight into supply. And then it kept going up, and I believe it went into even some refined supply zones, and it kept creeping up. So the lesson of the day today is that patience is key. And once you enter the trade, believe in yourself that the trade idea that you have set up, that you worked hard for, waited so long and watching the candles and have everything set up, have confidence in it. And if you are in the drawdown, don't panic, don't close early. Sometimes what happens, and I've been guilty of doing this in the past, where it goes so much into drawdown, and I'm praying, why don't we just give me positive and I'll close my trade and be done with this agony. And I've done that way back in the days where it'll go so much in the drawdown, as soon as it'll go a little bit in profit, I'll close it. And I'll be like, thank God I'm out of that ridiculous, emotional roller coaster. And only to find out later that the idea was correct and the trade went in my direction, right? So do not ever close early, except minus 1 hour loss, because if you've put in the hard work, the narrative makes sense to you. You've had time to go over this narrative many, many times. Why doubt yourself, right? Build confidence in your analysis. And today is a perfect example where I was confident in my analysis, where I did not want to close my stop loss to a break even though I knew news is coming in. And actually news facilitated within split second my profit targets. All right, guys, hopefully you got some value out of this. If yes, please do like and subscribe or leave me a comment, and we'll talk to you next week. Have a good week, and you all take care. Bye now.